Hello again. Thanks for coming back to Ski Movement Motor Skills Training. This is the instructor version for learning some of the verbiage concepts in the book. So pressure control is the third skill. The rotary was one skill, edging is another skill, and pressure control is the third one. And there's many ways to do pressure control. We're trying to focus on something that we can do on the chairlift. That's been my goal, is so you can practice these things on the chairlift. So one aspect I like to do pressure control with is foot to foot. Okay, so there's foot-to-foot pressure control, and there's movements we make with our feet in the boots that help us manage pressures during different phases of the turn. For example, if you follow along with me and rotate your feet and knees to the left while you're balancing over the outside foot, so you'll shift your weight a little bit over. And as you're pulling up and you're steering your feet around, you're guiding them through a turn, and you're flexing the inside foot up as you're coming across the hill. There's a pressure transfer that happens, and we can start it with our feet. Okay, so as I this is what I feel in my own skiing. So hold this with me. So your balance is over the outside foot, and as I start to move, as my feet go out from under me, steer them out from under me, and my body's moving over to the inside, I'm going to simultaneously pressure the front of my foot, the uphill edge, so I'm pressuring the edge of the foot, but I'm also, through that extension, I'm using the extension muscles in the front of my foot to balance and adjust where my center of mass is over that new extending, balancing leg. So as I come over to this other side, rotate with me, and I'm not fully extending that to push me back, but I'm managing the pressures, making sure that tip engages and cuts a groove in the snow for the tail to follow through. So it's managing pressures along the length of the ski through action in the foot. Okay, and it might be bumpy terrain. There's all kinds of reasons to massage and use that foot to manage pressures. At the same time, this inside foot is going to start pulling up and flexing just a little bit more. We're trying to direct our center of mass right through the arch of the ski, but as we finish a turn, we're coming to the right, you're rotating your knees to the right. When you get those short legs, depending on the amplitude and the intensity, the turn radius, this inside foot wants to flex. You want to flex that even more to steer it, and you might be moving towards the back, okay, of the ski. And so as your body moves over and then those feet go out from under you to the outside, we can adjust pressure of the foot using strength. It may be that you're not even extending the foot in the boot, you're just activating those muscles because your center of mass is moving just slightly forward of the arch in the early part of that turn, initiating the turn. Finding the center of your foot, carving out right through the center of that ski, out to the apex of the other side. Okay, so that's one way we can manage pressure with our feet. There's also the, hold this again with me, foot-to-foot pressure. It's the extension, it's in the hip joint, the flexing the knee. By coming across, we have most of our weight on the outside ski, and as we come through the finish phase of the turn, we're starting to flex this leg here as we pressure and increase the pressure through the extension and shift of our body weight over the new outside ski. So our pressure management foot to foot happens through this long leg, short leg action. Okay, so that's another way to manage pressures, and you can play with drills on the snow to exercise those muscles, especially things on the chairlift. Okay, because this is an easy thing to get that pressure management going on the chairlift, is you just pedal and get some of that motor skill working on the chairlift. Okay, and if you can get your clients to run these feet back and forth as they shift their body over that new outside, so the nose, while they're on the chairlift, is shifting over, they're steering their feet, and their body's going to shift over, and blend in all the other skills with that. So another way to manage pressure fore and aft through the length of the ski is, we talked about here, is the body moving forward or the feet pulling back. Okay, and a really good example of using that motion, if you do this on the chair with me, is when we call it a dolphin turn. Okay, where you extend your feet out and then you come off the tails and you pull your feet back and carve around, extend your feet out and come off the tails and pull your feet back, extend out, come off the tails and pull your feet back. It's something like that. I can do it on the snow. It's hard to do on the chair. But for moguls, so if you're going over a mogul, you're coming around and you might be skiing up and over the top, the back side, whatever path you choose to take. As your skis come up, you might increase your pressure on the heel, the tail of the ski, behind the heel, and then as you go over the top of the mogul, you would take your feet and pull them back to match the angle and the slope angle of the downhill side of the mogul, and carve that around, and then your skis will come out, feet will come out a little bit up, you'll come up and over and pull your feet back to come down the side of the mogul. You'll shape that out, come up and over and pull your feet back. So that's a way to manage fore and aft pressure using the base of support, legs pulling under the body mass on top. There's other times where you might want to throw the body to the inside if it might be tactical, so you could throw the body over to the inside if you're late on a turn or something. I see racers do it a lot. They get really late on a turn, so they throw their body way in, and then when they hook up their legs, they'll catch up to where they'll be in centered balance. So there's also another time, like moguls and powder skiing, we'll use extending both legs for pressure management. It will be coming to the side, bring it up, extend both legs out to the side. You'll see it in slalom racers too. There is a slight difference in the extension. They'll be pressuring here. Both legs will be out, they'll be carving around, and they'll pressure the inside. They may even retract. This is a pressure management move. As they reach out to the side here, one leg will lengthen just a little bit more than the other, and they'll carve that around, and they may retract across the middle and extend out to the side and steer that around and retract across the middle. So this is a good fun drill to do on a chairlift too, or even at home. Put on some music and learn this motor skill of working both legs more in time than the long leg, short leg, such as this. Coming around, pressuring, and long leg, short leg. Okay, so that's a really, really good use of pressure management in different applications. Powder, the worse the powder gets, windblown crust, if you start doing one leg at a time, you're gonna have all kinds of trouble. Okay, so you can move both skis through that, and you can manage pressures from foot to foot a lot better. So that's kind of your retraction. There's also absorption moves. You'll be coming around and up through bumpy terrain and having the ability to just let your legs move with those bumps. That's an absorption skill. There's up and weighting. You may choose to extend up and weight your whole body, or you may be coming across something that you want to just throw your body down and weight. A little bit different than retraction. So these are all kinds of terms and things that you could play with and will likely be playing with in your exam and your training for level 2, level 3 skiing. So pressure management, super important, is to get that timing. One of the key things that I see in a lot of level 2 skiers, level 2 instructors, even a lot of instructors, is when they come across the turn, they actually push off the downhill ski and stem a little bit and then move the pressure. So how we time that movement, when you're coming across here, we actually want to start pressuring this ski and transferring pressures before we've actually changed edges or even made it to flat. Okay, so it helps engage that other. We find our balance on this new outside foot before it started its radius on the inside as we bring the new inside half in front. Super important move when you're on steep terrain, all kinds of skiing, is to be able to engage that ski, start pressuring that short leg, the inside ski, early before you even have switched edges. Super important. I do it in my skiing. I see it in racers. I see it in the pictures in the manual. You can see it in those still shots of those skiers in the Alpine Technical Manual. If you look close, you'll see they're changing pressures, starting to change pressures while they're still on the inside uphill edge, the small toe edge of the foot. Really super important move. Okay, good enough. Pressure management out of the book, kind of, sort of. All right.